Okay, let's talk about health. If you've ever felt completely lost in all the noise about diet trends and what you should be eating, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to cut right through all that confusion and explore a much more holistic and honestly, a much more personal approach to feeling good.
Does this question hit home for you? That feeling of being totally drained? Just trying to figure out what clean eating even means, or which proteins are best? It's a huge source of stress for so many of us. But what if there's a totally different way to think about all of it?
Well, there is, and that better way is wrapped up in something called the Integrative nutrition philosophy. It's a whole approach that looks way beyond just the food on your plate to get a real, full picture of what makes you healthy.
And our guide through these ideas is Sheila Arnold. She's a certified integrative nutrition health coach, and her whole philosophy is about helping people find their ideal health in a way that feels natural, by looking at the entire person. This quote right here, this is the core of it. Think about it. Stress from your job or feeling unhappy in your relationships can literally physically stop you from reaching your health goals. It doesn't matter how perfect your diet is. So here's the more official definition. It's really about understanding that everything is connected. If you're struggling with things like weight gain or just low energy, you have to look at your career, your relationships, and your overall happiness, not just how many calories you're eating.
And that brings us to maybe the most powerful concept in this entire philosophy. It's this idea that there are actually different kinds of nourishment, which creates a totally new framework for how we can think about our health.
And here it is. It's so simple, but it's a game changer. Integrative nutrition splits what nourishes us into two buckets. Secondary food, well, that's the actual food you eat, fruits, veggies, protein. But primary food, that's everything else that fuels you in life. So you're probably asking, what exactly is primary food? This tool, the Circle of Life, explains it perfectly. It shows the 12 key areas that feed us beyond what's on our plate. Things like our career, our relationships, a sense of joy, even our finances. When any of these are out of whack, our health really feels. Just think about it for a second. A job you love gives you energy, right? Positive relationships literally feed your soul. And sometimes, a walk outside can be way more satisfying than a snack. These are the things that truly sustain you. And when these things are missing, what do? We often turn to secondary food, actual food, to try and fill that emptiness. Now, here's the most important part. This whole approach is deeply, deeply personal. The concept of bioindividuality just means that what works for your best friend or some influencer online is not necessarily going to work for you. Your perfect balance of all these things is completely unique.
Okay, so now that we get how important the stuff off our plate is, let's get practical and talk about what should actually be on it. Let's talk about our secondary food.
The best part is, the philosophy here is refreshingly simple. Clean eating is really just about choosing whole foods, foods that are as close to their natural state as possible. We're talking fresh fruits, veggies, grass-fed meats, whole grains, basically all the stuff you find around the outer edges of the grocery store.
And to help you shop a little smarter, there's the Environmental Working Group's Dirty Dozen list. These are just the produce items that tend to have the most pesticide residue. So if you can, you might want to prioritize buying the organic versions of these guys.
And hey, this doesn't mean these foods are bad for you. Not at all. A big bowl of fresh strawberries is amazing for you. This is just about making informed choices so you can reduce your exposure to pesticides whenever you can.
And then, on the flip side, you've got the Clean 15. These are the items with the lowest pesticide levels, which means you can feel a lot more confident buying the conventional, non-organic versions and maybe save a little money. This approach also helps demystify the whole world of fats. It makes a really clear distinction between traditional, natural fats that our bodies have known for centuries, like butter and ghee, and the modern industrial fats like trans fats, which are chemically altered and can really cause inflammation.
And that same idea of quality applies to protein too. The focus is on choosing animal products from animals that were fed properly, like grass-fed beef or pasture-raised chicken. They just provide a much more nutrient-dense profile.
So how does all of this come together? Well, it leads to a completely new way of thinking about one of the most common health goals out there, finding your ideal weight.
Instead of chasing some number on a scale that comes from a generic chart, this intuitive approach asks a better question. What's the weight where you feel your absolute best? It's a weight that you can maintain naturally, without a struggle, when your primary and your secondary foods are all in balance.
And this is what it looks like. It's about nourishment and enjoyment, not restriction and sad diet food.
Making simple, delicious meals at home, like these awesome-looking lettuce-wrapped burgers, becomes an act of self-care. It supports a healthy weight without all the stress of dieting.
Ultimately, the real goal is to shift your perspective. Health isn't some finish line you cross. It's a continuous, lifelong journey of learning about your body and making small, sustainable changes along the way.
So we want to leave you with this final thought. Instead of always asking, what's the perfect diet for me? Maybe we should start asking, what is my life truly hungry for? Answering that question, well, that might just be the real key to well-being.